Good morning, early bird Monday. How are you? Boy, I just, looked at the camera for the first time. And the sun, of course, came out from behind the clouds right at that moment in time. Ooh, that's a little better, isn't it? I wanted a little bit better background than the house again, but the other one doesn't look so bad. Let's see. I'm looking at the cameras. I know you've got some rays of sunshine all around me, so that gives me some soft look, doesn't it? But it's not really helping my hair much, is it? Woo! Oh, did you see that? That bird was right here. Did you see that? Whoa! Well, good morning. Good morning to the early birds, which isn't very early. We are here at 10:30 in the morning. I know. And even then, I was late. I know. I almost made it 11 o'clock. I've just got to really get that sunshine working for me a little bit better than that. So let's keep moving along here a little bit. And now it's right in my eyes. Actually, right in this eye, not in this eye. All right, give me a minute here. I do like my hair up. What am I doing? I can't look in that thing. It's a mirror of a mirror. I'm used to a mirror. All right. That is totally not going to work, is it? Love this background, though. Right there. Look at that. Look at that beautiful background there. It's a little crooked. I've got my little hanging Halloween things that we made, if you remember. I don't know if I finished it all up with you or not, but this was on classroom engagement. So here, there's the little spider I said I was going to make and put on a wire, which is actually a textured wire. So it looks like a little bit like it would be a web kind of thing, a web strand? I don't know. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I know, slow start, a really slow start, and I'm still not happy with this. But I really do not want you to see that great big gross disgusting garbage bin if I turned around, and then the sun would be right in there. So that doesn't make any sense either. I don't mind the way when I turn my face it looks okay, right? This is where they put up those umbrellas and things like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Which I clearly do not have. I could put my face behind it. That's actually what I'm going to do. I'll show you what I'm going to do. You'll be happy. I'll be happy. Then we can stop this nonsense for good. But it's going to take just a second, okay? My makeup artists don't usually work on Monday, and neither do my staging directors. So it's a little bit cooler here for sure. I think I'll move it up here. Staging. Stage the rocker, please. We're getting on it. Jeez. There's only one of us here. And most important, my coffee. Sorry for staging right here on the show, but there are a lot of people who are not professional around here. I won't name any names. I don't think that's any better. After all that work, I don't think it's any better, but I could make it better. I just pulled myself out into the sun. Alrighty, well, we'll see. You know, I was going to talk about vitamin D, and that would have been a good thing to talk about today, wouldn't it have been? With this last of the sunshine, that is one of the reasons why I have to get out here and I have to do this outside. We are in the last of the sunshine, and if you know anything about me, wearing yellow and my little tiger, I am a sunshine gal. Even if it does not reflect nicely on my forehead. Ugh. Makeup. Don't work on Mondays. Monday's off. Okay. Okay, well. Yeah, this is not going to work. Am I going to have to get all the way behind that? I think I am. All right, hold on just a minute. Sorry about that. And you know what? You know what else? The sun will probably... Nah, I don't know. I don't know where the sun's going. It's getting into winter, and I was going to do the seasons. I'm sorry that this is a really slow start. You might want to fast forward this. I was going to do the seasons, but then I was doing so many things to get rolling and what we wanted to talk about. And then I started thinking the seasons, and then I started thinking vitamin D, and then I started thinking nutrition, and then I started thinking last week on Monday we talked hygiene, and then I thought, you know what, nutrition, and then I found an awesome PowerPoint. So it was nutrition all the way. You know what? I could do this if I have sunglasses on, and then the rest of it I really don't care about. So, ladies and gents, I'm going to get my awesome shades. Hold on. These aren't the awesome shades I was going to wear, but at least they don't cover up my entire face. I kind of wish I had the other awesome shades. I couldn't find them for a minute. Let me see what they look like right over there. But at least I can see, and I'm not too cold right now. Although, here's my shawl. Although, where is my shawl? Oh, here it is. Oops. Whoops, right here. Right. Underneath me. And that should do it, ladies and gentlemen, for the warmth factor. I hope so. And the sunlight. So we're killing two birds with two stones. Look it up. Okay, so let's get to our... That's not it. Our little slideshow presentation. So, good nutrition. We're going to be here probably a little bit longer because we were rolling slowly. Okay. That's not how I usually start with the big, okay, nutrition. Now, I do want to tell you that I got this PowerPoint from Teachers Pay Teachers, again, where I get most of my information from, along with Twinkle and along with, I've got a K5 Learning that I get a lot of information from. This specifically is from a woman whose name is Steffi Griffin. Now, I took her material and I didn't happen to like her slides. It's a personal taste. Mine, look at that, pretty colorful, and we've got the nutrition factor down in the picture. So I happen to like my slides better, but I will tell you that all this information and the fact that I have a wonderful slide show with definitions is all thanks to Steffi Griffith. And I don't have her. But that's all you have to do is look that up at teacherspayteachers.com is the website. All right. So nutrition is the study of foods and how the body uses food to stay healthy. So one of the reasons why I have been thinking about what should I talk about? And as I was saying, I was thinking about sunshine and vitamin D and health and nutrition. So that's really the main point right now I want to highlight as kids have been going back to school and now getting sort of in the rhythm of things a little bit, making sure that you include nutrition as part of that rhythm. So the kids need to be eating, otherwise they don't have any food for their brain. And that's been demonstrated in research, in scientific psychological research, which actually, honestly, I don't want to get into. I was going to say are some of the hardest that they do the hardest science, but they also have screwed up science in a big way as well because they haven't followed certain scientific guidelines and others. So they cherry picked. But that being said, scientific research demonstrates, and this is the reason why they started the school food programs in public schools, is because of the association between poor grades and poor nutrition. Now we've got a whole system of things that it takes a relative genius or someone who has a career in that field of food to even begin to understand what is really going on with our food and nutrition. But there are a few things going on, and the signs of sugar dependency, diabetes, and obesity have a lot to do with the poor nutrition that is actually in our food, not so much from what our kids are eating. Nevertheless, there has also been a poor public service commitment to really understanding nutrition. We had a much better understanding of nutrition in the 80s than we do now, and we have a much better set of. We had a foundation, an economic foundation. They were giving monies to public service announcements that were benefiting individuals. You don't see that much anymore. If we did, we would have seen a lot more on the opioid crisis, which was in the hands of our musicians to do anything at all about, as far as any kind of public service understanding of this opioid crisis. And the rest of it, what do? We just bowl over it with get your vaccine for COVID. Eat right. COVID, individuals who suffered the worst from COVID had other factors that, it's comorbidity is what it's called, young ones, that were also working with the COVID. So obesity, diabetes, what else? Depression. That was likely one. Lots of stuff. But the one I remember, nutrition. Oh, I'm moving a little slow. Sorry about that. I am sorry about that because I need to pick up the pace. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my 2 viewers. Food groups. So what we want to pay attention to then, again, I'm concerned that we assume that people have information about nutrition, about food labels, about vitamin D, about minerals that we need in our body, about how much water we need in our body, about our water and understanding about our water. We assume older people, and when I say we, older people, and even teachers like me, I mean me, I really mean me, I assume that people know this stuff. But my mom was really actually somebody who cared about nutrition and who cared about a balanced diet. What's interesting about my mom is that she didn't grow up in a traditional family at all. I'll tell you how she grew up in a minute. And so I'm going to just say that she does not get the traditional family dysfunction, right? That comes along with a traditional family. She was raised in an orphanage. So she gets dysfunction that's associated with, Catholic nuns. But you may get a lot of good nuns, and it may affect you positively, and it may affect you negatively, because there's lots of bad Catholics, as we know as well. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. There's a lot of bad people, right? There's a lot of bad people. And so she learned this from the Catholic orphanage, because she was an orphan. I don't think I told you that. She was an orphan, and so she was in a Catholic orphanage, and she was raised by basically nuns. So she was raised in a Catholic school. Her whole life, she lived at a Catholic school, is what she did. And so, as I said, you can imagine that there's got to be some dysfunction there for sure. But on the one hand, we got rid of orphanages, right? Because they were so dysfunctional. But now what are we doing with all the, thanks Newt Gingrich for having no solutions, for taking away one solution without giving us another. And you could look that stuff up as far as the policy goes. So we lost our orphanages, which means that all of what you would call those individuals, I think you call them, I think it was ED, which is emotionally dysfunctional, right? Or emotional disabilities is what it is. For those children that were a handful, that we used to say in the day, my parents, right? Or a father left, and it was only the mother, and she had a number of kids and no job and no skills. What was she going to do with those kids? And that's what happened in my mom's family. The mom died. The dad could not take care of the kids. He had to work. And so half of them went in the orphanage. And a few years later, the dad died. And their last name was, my mother's last name was Coletta, and we have Karates over here and all kinds of funny family stuff that's going on with that. Don't think I'm kidding you, because I am not. Those Italians, are you kidding me? We were hiding. I told you that we were in hiding, but it doesn't. The point here is this, because sometimes I have to get the whole story out, like, have you heard? But the point here is this: she got a lot of education that actually a lot of people don't have. And I take it for granted, because she made meals that had the food groups, which is what we're going to talk about, right? She made sure that we always had a vegetable. She made sure that we always had milk, and she made sure that we always had protein. The grains were always there because we always had cereal. In the morning we would eat cereal, or we would eat oatmeal, or we eat something, or toast. So always in the morning, we always had the grains. There was usually never a problem with the grains. For poor people, it was a problem with good protein. For people who didn't have a high income, it was good protein. It just wasn't around, or you couldn't really afford it. And we were poor. And but the vegetables were pretty inexpensive, and the vegetables were also pretty tasty. Also, a gallon of milk cost 79 cents. Yeah, it cost 79 cents on sale. Then it was 99 cents on sale, right? And well, you know how prices rise. I'm sure. So, food groups. When we're talking about our food groups, we are talking about foods that have a similar mix of nutrients. So we have those in these different groups here. So we've got grains, we've got vegetables, we have fruit, we have protein, and we have dairy. So those demonstrate, just like the definition says, that they share certain ingredients that are similar. Meat and beans would be our protein group. The protein is what they are share in similarity. That's what we need, is the protein. What do we need here? We need the dairy for strong bones and white teeth. We need that dairy for those things. We have lots of osteoporosis because people aren't getting their vitamin D, which we have in dairy, but also calcium as well. Now, you can get these nutrients in other places, but if you are hungry and you have to feed the beast, as we have to feed the beast, right? So what do we have to do? We have to feed it a balanced diet. If we only have, for example, bread. So our grains there, right? So that gives us our fiber in our diet. And I think it gives us some good vitamin A as well. I'm not sure of the other vitamins. It gives us grains. What grains do give us, though, is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates can be stored in the body, and we can use those carbohydrates for running around. The problem is, and for energy, we use carbohydrates for energy. The problem is again, back with the food suppliers, and again, if we have, as I said, bread, first of all, we know that people are now very often gluten intolerant, and this has to do with the amount of gluten that they put in, like 70 times the amount of gluten to make their bread all nice and soft and doughy. I mean, I don't need my bread to be like this, right? And that's what they did. All that soft doughy stuff that makes it sticky like that, when you can take a piece of bread and roll it into a ball of dough, that's gluten. And the easier that is to do, the more gluten it has in it. The harder it is to do, the more it's like oats or like a grain, right? You put the gluten in there to get it to stick together, and it makes a delicious piece of toast. And I've gotten some delicious bread that doesn't bother my stomach, which is from Great Harvest. So it's homemade breads, and it's a honey wheat bread. And I find that the wheat has the fiber in it that I need and keeps me regular. And the honey gives it a non-bark kind of taste. Like I'm not eating just a grain, right? Right? No. Okay. Vegetables. Do you know the difference between a vegetable and a fruit? Sometimes it's difficult to tell. And I've got some worksheets that I have on differences between fruits and vegetables that I got from, did I get those from Teachers Pay Teachers? I did. So see if you are able to tell differences between fruits and vegetables. And then, yeah, we already talked about grain. So vegetables and fruits and proteins and milk. What do? They have similar ingredients, and those similar ingredients, like dairy with the calcium or with the vitamin D, those similar ingredients that I can get in cheese, or I can get in milk, or I can get in milk or cheese. What else is dairy? Cream is also dairy. Ice cream, which means ice cream, is dairy as well. Dairy is my favorite food group, and I'll never diss dairy. I'll never diss dairy, ever. But lucky me, I'm not lactose intolerant, right? And that's another issue. What they do to our dairy, they made everybody so lactose intolerant. You know what they're doing? They're like, you don't get your nutrients, poor people, unless you pay a lot more money for your food. And then you can get some nutrients, maybe. We'll see how much money you pay. Just depends, right? Okay, all right. So let me just... before we go to food labels, I want to do something else. I want to get a worksheet up here. And I'm not exactly sure where I put this worksheet. So just let me find the worksheet for a second. I'm not sure if I downloaded it, and I really do actually want it, so I want to take a look at it. There we go. You're like, there we go. What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Just give me a sec, would you please? Just a sec. I don't have my glasses on. Okay. So, do you know the difference between your fruits and vegetables? Maybe you do. I didn't put this up there because I assumed that you would know. So, circle the fruits, draw a square around the vegetables. So, do you know the difference? A banana. Let's take a look at it like this. Let's make it just a little bit smaller, or a lot smaller. So, a banana. Do you know if a banana is a fruit or a vegetable? Is a banana a fruit or a vegetable? Let me get. Oh, I didn't download this. I'm going to switch this over to the preview here, and we're going to get a different preview here. Okay, I had to do that so that I could. Ugh, sorry. Oh, these are PDFs. Never mind. You know what? I'm just trying to get my tools over here. Oh, this is a hard day for us, isn't it? What color are we going to use? We're going to use blue. So, is this a fruit for a circle, or is it a vegetable for a square? That is a fruit, so that circle there that we have is correct. Let's get a rectangle here. What about the next one there? I just put this out there. It may be a fruit, it may be a vegetable. A head of lettuce. Is that a fruit for a circle or a square for a vegetable? That is a square. That is correct. The square around there is correct. What about the apple? Does that deserve a circle for a fruit or a square for a vegetable? Do you know what an apple is? An apple is a fruit. That is a fruit. So when we are making sure that we are eating all the right foods, we better make sure what we know is a fruit or is a vegetable, right? Okay, let's minimize this a little bit and get the rest of them there. This purple thing here is an eggplant. You might recognize it from your emojis. It's an eggplant. Is an eggplant a fruit or is an eggplant a vegetable? Eggplant is a vegetable, and there's a lot of different ways that you can make eggplants, including they use that in lasagna. It's really, really, really good. I don't know how to cook it. I say it's really good because I've eaten it a lot of different ways, but you have to be a really good cook, in my opinion, to cook it deliciously and make it taste like something else, like lasagna. I'm not that kind of a cook. I'm already highlighting what oranges are if you don't know. What are oranges? Are they a fruit or a vegetable? Oranges, they are a fruit. What about broccoli? That little tree thing there, if you don't recognize it, that is broccoli. Is broccoli a fruit or a vegetable? If you don't recognize that, you don't have it enough. It can be served in a lot of different ways. I love broccoli, cream of broccoli soup. I love it. In fact, I have almost all the ingredients. I have to pick up a couple more, and I'm planning on making a few soups because it's getting cooler. It's the fall season. What about that pear there? What about the pear? Is the pear a fruit or a vegetable? Is the pear a fruit or a vegetable? The pear is a fruit. So we put a circle around the fruit. Pear is a fruit. What about watermelon? That was my husband's favorite. It was my husband's favorite fruit. Watermelon is a fruit. And what about that colorless carrot? What's up with that colorless carrot? Carrots are not kind of pink. Carrots are orange. They are not kind of pink. And if you're getting a white carrot, they may be genetically modified. We don't want genetically modified food. The reason why we don't is because they say, oh, it's nutritious. We can feed everybody. Yeah, then why is everybody so fat? I don't mean to be, critical, but we've got our, let's get this out of the way. Let's get me up there. Where am I? So why are we so fat is what I left off with, if you recall. Let's move this down. We'll make it a little bit bigger so we don't have that. We'll make this a little smaller. There we go. Give me that. There we go. Look at our work. So now we have a really good idea of our fruits and vegetables, right? And if you look in the store, you'll notice that they put the fruits together. So you'll see the apples and the pears and the grapes and the melons and the strawberries and the blueberries. All of those things will be put together. And you'll see vegetables in a different section, and those will be together. So you'll see lettuces together, or you'll see things like the potatoes all together along with onions. So those are root vegetables that grow underneath the ground. Then you'll see other vegetables that grow, and carrots maybe around there. Then you'll see other vegetables like cucumbers and broccoli, and those things put together in an area. So it really gives you an idea when you go shopping. If you look, you'll see that the stores It's called produce. The fruits and vegetable area is called produce. In the produce area, you'll see that they are grouped together by fruits and vegetables in different kinds, like I said, and some will be the root vegetables under the ground. Other ones will be like the bell peppers, right, like on little trees, right? And some of them actually will be trees, like the broccoli, for example. Okay, so we have a good idea of our fruits and vegetables. That's a great start for our nutrition. Let's see here what I've got to do here. Oh, but listen to that. Ugh. Now I wanted to explain to you, and this is actually good for older kids, but it's also really good for adults as well. This is one of those things that you assume everybody must know. In order to buy food, we all have to be paying attention to the labels that are on our food. And so understanding those nutritional labels is going to be really important. So we see there, we can start with, you know what? I don't have my glasses. I'm sorry. You can look at that label for a second. I have got to get my glasses, not my sunglasses, my other glasses, obviously, because I can't read that. Start here. I can read it. Start here. Check serving size. So that's the first thing we want to look at, because we can have 2 of the same size cans, or 2. In our example, we're going to have 2 of the same size cereal boxes. However, those cereal boxes have different serving sizes. So I might look at the calories of one and say, well, this is less calories. I'm going to buy this. But the serving size might be a lot smaller, which means that the calories then aren't equating, right? They're not equal to the other one if our serving size isn't equal. So these are the things that you want to think about when you're looking at the serving size on your label and you're doing comparisons for things like calories or nutrition. Check the calories. So that's what we just said. Check the calories then. And that's also going to be, remember, based on the serving size. You want to limit these nutrients. What are those nutrients, Dr. Feravich? I can barely see them. Well, let me tell you what they are. They are trans fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium. Sodium is salt. So what you've got is you've basically got ingredients that are fat. Sometimes fat and salt. Sodium is the salt. Sometimes fat can be good for us, right? It really does give us energy. But we have a problem with obesity in this country, so we don't have a problem with getting enough fats. We have a problem with getting too many fats, and in particular with having large trans fats. Think about fat, right? Think about fat that you've seen on a piece of meat or on chicken underneath the skin. You should look at it. You should see what it looks like. Underneath the skin, you can see it's yellowish. There's a yellowish fat there. The fat gives us our grease, which means that it also gives us the juiciness in our chicken, right? So we want to have a certain amount of fat to have that delicious flavor. But look at it. Look at fat. Look at it. Take a piece of fat and put it in the refrigerator and then play with it with your fingers or something. It's gross. It's hard, right? And that fat on steak is very different than the fat that you find underneath the skin of chicken, which is a lot more like our fat. Like we've got fat underneath our skin that keeps women's hands nice and soft. That's what women, you men, you and your testosterone and your muscles, you don't have nice soft skin like we do. So that keeps, so we like having the fat, and that's also women who are softer than men because we have more fat on our bodies than men do. We need this fat. We need fat to produce babies and have all that extra fat, right? Which has nutritional value for our infants. We don't just feed them fat. We feed them the mother's fat from the mother's milk. It's one of the reasons why milk, we don't have as large a quantities of milk, because milk can contain a lot of fat in it, and that's and also it contains, if it's low fat milk, it contains more sugar in it. So you kind of have to be careful with the dairy products. I'm careful. I love them. I carefully eat them on a daily basis. Oh, and savor them. I blew off the cobwebs over there. That actually did a pretty good job. It's not 100% clean, but it did a pretty good job. I use my leaf blower, and that's what I'm doing for dusting all the cobwebs out of my garage and everything. Whew, does that work good? Love my leaf blower. Mwah! Greenworks. That's who it's from. All right, let's look more closely at this. What else on these labels are we looking at? That's really important. Get enough of these nutrients. You need vitamins and minerals. If it says vitamin, then it's a vitamin. So vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E. That's it. There's no F, G, and H. All right? Those are our vitamins. I might be missing something else. I don't think I am. Vitamin K. There we go. I knew I could go down the alphabet and get something else. Vitamin K also we need. So vitamins, we'll start with the word vitamin, and we know that's a vitamin. And we need to get those for all different reasons. We're not going to get into necessarily, like, for example, the vitamin D. Actually, you know what? I am, because that's just the kind of person that I am. So sorry about that. You're going to have to look at that. And I'm going to get my vitamin D brochure up here. Yeah, I thought I had it right there. I do not. Oh, I bet I do. There we go. Okay, I'm going to pull something else up here for you guys. So I love milk, and I also find that I found out a lot of important scientific information about vitamin D and getting our daily nutritional value for our vitamin D. I don't understand these low-flying planes that all look like a bunch of basically satellites sending movie people their movies, whatever. But here are all of the things that vitamin D affects. And when you have deficiencies, it is going to, first of all, affect your immune system. This is your ability to react to diseases. That was one of the other things that we did find with individuals who were more likely to get COVID. Those individuals had low levels of vitamin D. My vitamin D, I was in it was below the lowest level was my vitamin D. So I had to get some supplements. But vitamin D helps you did you ever just have a nice full day of sunshine and you're just like, oh yeah, that's not just because it's warm and makes you feel fuzzy. That actually boosts your vitamin D, the vitamin D that you need that helps you feel strong. So, and look at what else it does. And it helps you feel strong because it also contributes to your, look at the third one there. Oops, I pulled it up. I didn't pull it up for you. The skeletal system. So you feel stronger because you are stronger when you've been running around and doing things out in the sun, even if you're laying out in the sun. But a lot of times, other than just laying, because you are getting your vitamin D and it helps with all of these things. It truly does. It helps with your digestion. It helps with ulcers, which are caused by bacteria, the H. pylori bacteria, actually. Indigestion, with celiac, what does that say? Sprue? Is that what that is? I'm not sure what that actually is. That was I got this from somebody else. So circulatory system, it helps with your high blood pressure because what it does is it gives you, first of all, vitamin D in your system, which gets that blood pumping. You are stronger. It fights against, again, immune system, viruses, infections, allergies, even cancer, and those different types. It helps you by giving you vitamin D helps you process other vitamins that you get in your body, and that also can help with things like processing vitamin B for stress. So this is why it helps you with your stress. It helps you with your respiratory system, allergies, bronchitis, asthma. If you have kidney problems, and many people have kidney problems because they are on medications, one of the common side effects of pharmaceutical medications is kidney failure and kidney problems. So getting your vitamin D, and what you need is you need 15 minutes in the sunshine. But that is in the summer times if you are above the sunshine equator, which is at like the 35th parallel, something like that. We are not here in Michigan, and so we do need supplements. You can get a prescription supplement, which keeps your costs down. But again, they've been playing with prescriptions so much so that eventually you'll get dependent on the prescription. I keep giving you your vitamin D in prescription. You don't need to be outside. Here's your vitamin D in prescription form all the time. Vitamin D really doesn't cost anything, hardly at all, as a supplement. But what they do, your doctor gives you a huge dosage that they say is time released across time, right? It did pump up my numbers for sure when I got on that. If your numbers are very low, a prescription probably would do you well. It would be very difficult for you to pump those numbers up just in your regular daily activities. However, when your vitamin D is at a adequate level, which I think is 40, I don't know, however they measure that, 40 units, whatever the units are that they measure, not the supplement. I know those are international units, but they measure in your body with whatever the units are of measurement. I think that the average is something like 50, something like 50. Mine was 20, 24 is the lowest. I think you want it something closer to 80, whatever the units are. If you're not getting it there, and you should, there's no reason your doctor shouldn't be checking your vitamin D on a regular basis. It's ridiculous that they're charging doctors for that, and insurance when so many of our systems are dependent on vitamin D. So take a look at this chart and all the systems, and hopefully you're convinced that you need your dairy input for your vitamin D, or your sunshine, or your supplement of vitamin D. Hopefully you're convinced. Okay? All right, so let's take a look now. Let's get back to our All right, so get enough of these nutrients. There are vitamins. We also have minerals. One of the things that, so these are things like iron is a mineral, calcium is a mineral, uh, thiamine is a mineral, I think it is. I don't know why I'm thinking of, all of a sudden, I'm thinking of these things that I don't even know what they are. What are some other minerals that we have? Magnesium, that's what I was going to say. Magnesium. Um, uh, that's the one. Melatonin, right? All of these things we get from, I think melatonin, I'm not sure actually. Melatonin regulates our sleep cycle. Yeah, it's got to be a mineral. It's not named vitamin. So these, actually, you can't find melatonin on a label, so don't quote me on that one. I should know that kind of stuff better. I really should. If I went and took a look at one of my bottles with all of my supplement information on it, I would have the whole list of their riboflavin. You get it. Niacin. Those are some of our minerals that our body needs. Okay. The quick guide to the percent daily values that are needed. Let's take a look at that on our slide. So taking a look at this nutritional label gives us just a little bit more information. So we're taking a close-up look here. So at the top there, it says pay close attention to the serving sizes, which we've already talked about. Look for foods with lower levels of saturated fats. We talked about this. This tells you how much salt is in food. That's the sodium that we talked about, right? Calcium is important for bones and teeth. So there's vitamin A there, calcium, vitamin C, and iron. Use this section, the section that has percent daily values, as a guide for daily planning, right? So if we have a 2,000 calorie diet, how much total fat do we want in that 2,000 calorie diet? If we have a 2,500 calorie diet, how much total fat should be in that diet? How much cholesterol should be in that diet? How much sodium should be in that diet? How much carbohydrates and how much fiber should we get on a daily basis? If you take a really close look at that dietary fiber there, you can really see 25 grams of dietary fiber is what is necessary there for us. Look a little bit closer at that label here. Under the 2,000, which is a normal diet for women, I would say 3,000 for younger men, 2,500 for older men is a normal calorie count for your diet. You might not know that. 25 grams of fiber is what you need on a daily basis. We are so far from that dietary fiber. And the problem also is that where we typically get our grains from, often we end up being gluten intolerant. And when we're gluten intolerant with those grains, and when we're gluten intolerant with those grains, there's no way we're getting 25 grams of our fiber on a daily basis. We need this to keep things passing through us, especially with all of the junk that we get in our diets, with all of the lack of nutrition and all the extra, for example, preservatives that we have. Why is it that some things can sit on the shelf forever and you can eat a can of, whatever, years later? Because they have preservatives in them. They preserve them for the long haul. In case you need to eat that next year, you still got it, and it still preserves the nutrient level in there as well. right? But when we have those preservatives, it takes away from the natural vitamins and minerals that we should be getting, and it does a preservative. Think about, as I started to say before, think about the fat and think about what that looks like. And if you have a pound of fat, what a pound of fat would look like in your body. Well, think about the same thing when you're talking about preservatives. When we have preservatives in our body, what are they doing? They are not allowing something to have the natural decay, the natural breakdown, which means that that food that has a lot of preservatives in it is not naturally breaking down inside your body to pass out. It's why we need such high levels of fiber. But when our grains are all screwed up with gluten, we can't do the magic anyway. Do you see how you have to have the knowledge, but you have to go beyond the knowledge in order to be an activist and making sure that the food companies aren't simply there just for profit, as we know that they are. Okay, so many things simply just for profit. Why do we have so many weapons? Why do we have so many weapons in this country? What is it about the profit margin on weapons? Oh, well, we're selling them all to third world countries, so big time profit. Oh, okay. Well, as long as we know what we're doing. So, nutrition label is the information on the package of a food product that describes its nutritional value. It lists a food's nutrients, percent daily value of nutrients, and the serving size. You know, amongst other things, for sure, right? So that's some good information for us to have. Serving size. Serving size is an individual portion of food on a nutrition label as deemed by the food supplier. So this is a serving size is whatever the food supplier says is the individual portion. So we said here we need to make sure that we are looking at the serving size on our nutritional label. So here, the very first thing it says, pay close attention to the serving size. There's our serving size. There's our percent daily value. We said you wanted to pay attention to as well. So what does that percent daily value mean? What it means is it is the percentage or part of each serving that provides a person relative to the daily value needed of that nutrient. It provides a person relative to the daily value needed of that nutrient. So how much do you need on a daily basis of that nutrient, right? So on a daily basis, there are our values. So total fat. This gives you 18% of the total fat needed. Saturated fats, it gives you 30% of the saturated fats. Cholesterol, 2% of your daily cholesterol is being provided by this serving size, right? A serving of this meal here. Dietary fiber, only 1 gram of dietary fiber in this meal, whatever this is. 4 cookies. 4 cookies is what we're eating. So 4 cookies. And it provides 25 grams of carbohydrates. So it provides us some energy. That's 8% of our daily energy. 4 cookies. You could eat 10 more things and you'd be filled with your daily carbohydrates. So this is how we look at, read, and understand these labels. Hold on just a minute. I want to show you this, but I also wanted to see what else I have here as far as our worksheets go. Oh, I'm not ready yet. All right. Cool. All right, so we also want to pay attention to calories. And one of the things that we know about calories is that calories in, calories out. Calories, sometimes we pay attention to all kinds of things on our label, but when we are looking at losing weight, we are told that the best way to lose weight is to reduce your calories. Calories in, there's going to be calories out one way or another. So that's what you want to do, is make sure that you are paying attention to your calories. Calories is how much energy your body gets from eating or drinking. Eating too many can lead to weight gain. So we need to eat in order to get the calories, which provide us with our energy. And we see lots of calories in foods that are high, for example, in carbohydrates, because carbohydrates gives us that energy, right? We don't see calories in fat. Why? Because actually we store fat. That's interesting though, right? No, that's not true. There's a lot of calories in fat. What am I talking about? Never mind. I know what I was thinking. Sugar. That's what I was thinking. Fat does not have to have a lot of sugar. And if you're watching your sugars, you can pay attention more to fats, right? It's why the low carb diet, because if you don't use that energy, the energy turns into fat as well. If you have a low carb diet, you're not storing those fats. Those are high. Well, so is bacon high calorie though. See? So that's why you got to pay attention to all of these diets. It really has always boiled down to calories in, calories out. And that's the thing that people don't like to pay attention to, because no matter what I eat, it has calories, no matter what. So I have to pay attention to everything I eat. So they go on these other diets where I only have to pay attention to my carbs, or I only have to pay attention to my fats, or I only have to pay attention to my proteins. The fact is it always boils down to calories. And whenever you're putting something in your mouth, you're putting calories in your mouth. And that calories in, calories stored, right? Unless you burn those calories off. Calories in, you can burn those calories off doing exercises. And you can look at lots of programs that will show you how many calories you can burn through exercise. Okay, let's see here. What else do we have? Now, what we have here is I've got a little activity that uses, actually I'll make that just the size it's supposed to be, that uses 2 cereal box labels here, all right? So you can blow that up as much as you want to look at those cereal box labels. And what I'm going to do is I am going to read, if I can find it, questions that will help you look at this label in a critical way. So trying to understand and look at these labels so that you understand them better. So let's start with, how big is a serving of cereal A and how big is the serving of cereal B? Well, we know cereal A there, we can look at the serving size for cereal A. Serving size says 1 cup. Cereal B, it's 3/4 of a cup. So 40 grams in cereal A compared to 27 grams in cereal B. Do you see that? How do the number of calories in a serving of each cereal compare? So there's 140 calories for the 1 cup compared to 90 calories in the 3/4 cup. But there's less, right? There's also less. So let's see what else it says there on number 2. It's probably a percent. Oh, with milk. It says with milk. If you have milk in it. So you can put milk in the 3/4 of a cup and have less calories than in the 1 cup with 140 calories, but that doesn't include milk. So again, you want to look at those labels to see what they include and what they don't include. How do the number of servings of calories from fat in each serving of cereal compare? So calories from fat. 10 calories from fat in cereal B. Wow. I don't see calories from fat in the first label. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about these labels as well. I'm going to let you take a look at the, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I want this preview, hold on. Okay, here are the questions that I'm asking you, but I want to show you. This is also from Teachers Pay Teachers. So here are some important things to understand about nutritional facts. What do? They help us understand the nutritional value of food. They help us compare products more easily, and they increase or decrease the amount you need, help you to determine how much you increase or decrease the amount you need to eat of a particular nutrient. So, the nutrition facts table lists 13 core nutrients. Other nutrients can also be on the table, but are not mandatory. So they require you to list 13 core nutrients. The serving size, the information in the table is based on the amount of food. Often people will eat more than the serving size on the label, so you need to take that into consideration. That's true. Sometimes serving sizes are very small. 3/4 of a cup of cereal is very small serving size. Percent daily value. This indicates at a glance if there is a little or a lot of a specified nutrient in the serving. So a small percentage means there's only a little bit of that in. That's not what I wanted to do. There's only a little bit. Low percentages mean there's only a little bit of that nutrient. High percentages mean there's a lot more of that nutrient in whatever you're eating. Calories, the amount of energy that's in food, is measured in the form of calories. There is approximately 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. Oh, did I say there wasn't calories in fat? Did I say there's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat? Think about a pound of bacon. Could you eat a pound of bacon? How many calories do you suppose is in a pound of bacon? A lot of fat. Weight of nutrient. A weight of each nutrient is given so you can make comparisons among products. And the list of ingredients on the list are always listed from most abundant to least abundant. That means it has the most here of whole wheat in this. Next, it has the most vegetable oil. Next, shortening sugar, and then salt. You also want to make sure that that ingredient list stays small. You don't want You don't want a long list of ingredients, especially ingredients that you can't pronounce or understand. That means that they're putting chemicals in there, and that means that those chemicals basically are usually some type of preservative or some kind of imitation fat or imitation bean or imitation plastic, or who even knows? We don't even know. Keep that list of ingredients short and make sure you understand that list of ingredients as well. Okay, let's get back to our questions there. So here you're looking at these two cereal labels. I'll get back to those cereal labels, in fact. And let's get to the next question then. Would either of these cereals without milk be a good source of calcium? Well, let's see. How much calcium do they have in there? Calcium 0%. And number 2, calcium 20 milligrams or 2% of your daily value. So if I add milk, it would be 15%, but without milk, no, really not a lot that it adds to our daily value. Let's look at those list of ingredients there. Do we understand ascorbic acid, tocopherolous, antioxidants to maintain freshness? I do understand all the ingredients. Wait, hold on just a minute. What does that say? Unsomething or other. Unsulfured molasses, oat flour, expeller pressed high olive oil. Is that what that says? Or some kind of oil. So I do understand. Canola and or sunflower oil. Salt, baking soda, natural vitamin E and vitamin C. So I do understand most of those ingredients in the second one. So that second one does look like it's probably pretty good for me, right? All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the rest of these questions. So if you want to go ahead and answer those questions on your own, that's a good idea for you to do. So what is the percent daily value of total carbohydrates for each cereal with milk? Which of these cereals is lower in sodium? Which of these cereals is lower in sugar? Which of these cereals would be a better choice for a low-fat diet? Which of these cereals would be better if you wanted to increase your dietary fiber? Why should people be encouraged to eat these cereals with milk? Which of the cereals do you think is a more healthful choice? Which ingredient makes up the majority of the cereal? Okay. The more you read, the more you know. Labels can help you make wise food choices. You can learn a lot by reading the nutritional facts table and the ingredient listings. Select 2 similar foods. Fill out the blanks below, then answer the questions. So this is basically working on a project for the food that you have in your own cabinet and understanding a little bit more about the nutritional value of the food that you have in your own cabinet. We already talked about those different ingredients or food groups that you need in order to make up a healthy diet. So my pyramid is a resource for making food choices for a healthy body. And those food choices really need to basically look like this. So you've got your fruits, you've got your vegetables, you've got your grains, and you've got your protein, which are meat and beans. Either one works. If you're a vegetarian, you can eat beans and you don't have to eat your meat. You also need dairy there. Notice the sizes of those portions. Which sizes are bigger? Vegetables and grains. You need the grains in order for the fiber. You need the vegetables in order to give you lots of your vitamins and minerals. Fruits and proteins you need less of. Fruits has lots of sugar in it, and so they contribute to a poor diet if you are prone to diabetes, to being a diabetic. You don't need as much protein in our bodies because we have a tendency to really over-protein our bodies. And dairy really is a small portion. I happen to increase my dairy. But what you can do here is you can try and decide what you want in your own daily diet on your plate. So the pictures show you might use cheese for your dairy. I would probably have cheese and a glass of milk, right? What might you have on your plate for your protein? Slices of bread. Would you have bread for your grains? Is that what you would have for your grains? Or maybe you have oatmeal in the morning? What would you have for your fruits? Would you have an apple or would you have strawberries? And what would you have for your vegetables? Would you have a salad? Would you have broccoli soup? What would you have? So you can put your own foods on your plate that match these sizes and these proportions, and that better match the kinds of foods that you are more likely to eat. I think that's it that we have. Okay, all right. So I think that there's one more thing. Let me see here. Yep. For better recognizing your food groups. All right, so we have got I can't ever see the preview there. I think it's there. So here we've got our 5 food groups, and we're trying to match the picture of the food, bread, for example, with the proper food group, right? So we have bread. Is that a fruit, a vegetable, meat or bean, a grain, or a dairy? How about watermelon? Is that a fruit, a vegetable, a meat or a bean, a grain, or a dairy? And then what do you want to do? You, of course, want to draw a line, right? So we want to draw a line. For example, from watermelon to fruits, right? And then from bread to what? To grains, right? Milk. Is milk a fruit, a vegetable, meat or beans, grains, or dairy? And of course, we know that milk is dairy. So we draw a line from our milk. Too long. To our dairy. Eggplant. What is eggplant? Is eggplant a fruit, a vegetable, meat or beans, grains, or dairy? Well, we've already got our grains and our all we've got left is meat or beans. It's not meat. It's not our beans. So it's got to be a vegetable, right? Of course. So we draw a line from our eggplant to our vegetables, and then finally we draw a line from our turkey to our meat and beans. Very good. There's our answers. Let's see. I think I have another one here. Nope, we did that one. That's not what I wanted to do. Ugh. And then here's another one. Match the foods with their food group. So we've got there a plate, looks like a pork chop on there or a steak maybe. We have pineapple. We have broccoli. We have cheese. And we have flour. So which one's dairy? Which one's grains? Which one's meat or beans? Which ones are the vegetables? And which one is the fruit? Excellent job. Excellent job with all of this. I am really I am really happy. We have done all of our work, and there's only one other thing that I decided that I wanted to do with you. So we're going to step out of our little classroom here and step inside, and I'm going to make a breakfast with you. So let's go. And it took us only a minute to get inside, and we are inside, and I am ready to start a little breakfast with you that is just so easy peasy. You could make it in 3rd grade, right? So what do I have? I have my little pot here that I've got on my stove. And I'm going to get my oats out. So I don't eat these very often, but I did plan to eat these today here with you. So these are Australian creamy style instant oats, and they are whole grain. They're a good source of fiber, grown in Australia. So that's why I got it. No, sun ripened, but there are our nutritional facts right there. So you can take a good look at that and compare to see if you think that this really does have good nutritional value. And then you can also see, how do we make this? So it's pretty easy. If I'm going to make it on the stove top, simply add a 1/4 cup of instant oats to 1 cup of boiling water and stir. No, it's not a 1/4 cup. I'm sorry, it's a 1/2 cup. Okay, so you got twice as much water as you do to the oats. All right. So about a 1/2 cup of oats the last time was all that I really wanted. So that's what I did. So twice as much water. If I wanted a full cup of oats to make for more than, just me, the kids or whatever, then I would have a full cup of oats. I would have how much water? 2 cups, right? So I'm going to do the 1/2 cup I did like it a lot the last time I had it, but I think I'm going to start with just a half a cup, even though I liked it a lot. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing about this is that I do not use milk. I mean, water. I use milk. I love milk. These are creamy, and it makes it that much creamier. These are they say so, right? They're the creamy oats. It makes it that much creamier for me. My mom did it. We've always done milk in our oatmeal. So let me get my measuring cups. And I've got my 1 cup measuring cup. And I'm going to fill this. Actually, what do I need that 1 cup for? I don't need that 1 cup. I do, but I need a half a cup. I love these. I think they're so beautiful. I mean, you have them for a whole lifetime, right? Measuring cups for a whole lifetime. So I got these from Williams-Sonoma when my sister worked there, so I got them at a great big discount. I was so happy. Because I probably wouldn't buy stuff from Williams-Sonoma just because they're so expensive, right? But great quality stuff that you do have for a lifetime. So a great gift for somebody who's a cook. For sure. For sure, a great gift. All right, so there's my half a cup of oats. And I'm going to put 1 cup of milk in. I drink whole milk. It's a good source of vitamin D, as we were just talking about. But also, whole milk has more fat. I happen to, I'm a busy gal. I can get my fat off. I usually can get my fat off. It's been harder with the nutrients that they have in the food and the way that they've changed their food. It's been harder, but I can get my fat off. So we need to put twice as much liquid in, and my liquid is milk. I use whole milk because it has less sugar in it. It just has less sugar, and I don't want more sugar. I'll take more delicious, creamy fat. I don't mind. She said it. She likes fat. Okay. In all the right places. Who doesn't? Skinny legs like this, holding up a behind that looks like this. Okay, so we're going to just put that on medium heat, and we are going to stir it. But the last thing that we're going to do is note, first of all, how long it takes, which it takes no time. Look what I just did. I just poured those ingredients in there, and it's stir time. And that's it. And you would be surprised how quickly, you will be surprised how quickly this heats up and thickens up. Should let you see. You want to see me, don't you? Wait. Put that far down. There we go. And then I just want to tell you that the last thing that I will put in here, my battery's getting low, so I got to go get the battery. But the last thing that I will put in here, don't let your milk burn. Whatever you do, burnt milk is the worst. So when you have an electric stove, the heat is not even, right? And I have an electric stove. So you really want to be careful when you're stirring to make sure, well, when you're cooking, to make sure you're doing an awful lot of stirring, because burnt milk is the worst. Okay, you're going to sit there and watch me not stir for a minute while I go and get my plug. I had my kids over. It was so nice this weekend. They cleaned out my garage for me. I was so happy, and it looks so beautiful. I mean, it is awesome. I was so happy. It was so nice to have. It's so nice to have family here, even if you're just working outside. It's so nice. Even if they don't like you. Daughter-in-laws. Why they wouldn't like me, I have no idea. I can't get this plugged in. I'm gonna burn my stuff. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's thickening up already. And then what do? Honey or maple syrup? Maple syrup really gives it a punch. So when all is said and done and I get ready, this is fully thickened. I'll sweeten it up. The oats open up, right? Let's take a look at those. Did you take a look at them? We're little scientists. We need to look at the oats. So this is what is separated from. It's the, from the chaff, from the outside of your wheat or oats in this case. That's what you get. You get those little oats there. Right? You could eat them. Your water in your mouth, your saliva in your mouth turns it into oatmeal. Not a delicious oatmeal. Not as delicious as this oatmeal. See how thick that is now? And the only thing that these oats need, besides milk to make them creamier, I like to make them creamier, is that maple syrup. Now the other thing about oatmeal, in my opinion, is that it cools down really fast. If you make it in the microwave, it will cool down and be stickier than this. I don't like it in the microwave. It cools down too fast and it makes it a lot stickier. But look at that. It makes me a whole bowl of oatmeal for myself. It's me, just one. Yeah, just one. Just one. Stop asking me. It's only one. It's the same doggone answer it's always been. One. For Pete's sake. Stop trying to hurt my feelings and embarrass me. You can't do it. Have you seen the videos? You can't embarrass me. Really rinse that pot out because that stickiness. Whoop. And then what? And I'm really not embarrassed by how sweet I want that to be. And that's it, folks. Then you choose your size spoon that you want to eat it with. And I will. There it is. Look at all that maple syrup I've got all on the outside of that. I want to eat it while it's hot because I hate cold oatmeal. It is so delish. If you never liked oatmeal, and I never really cared for it when I was a kid, I used to buy my kids the instant oatmeal packets, and they had enough sugar in it, but probably too much sugar, and probably preservatives and things like that. Why not? And do you think that your kids could make that? Think they could do, right? A little math, and make a delicious breakfast? I bet so. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thank you so much for joining me here on We Are Monday Morning Early Birds is what we are. We do more science is what we're doing because we're doing so much grammar in our regular Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday early bird classroom. And I really want to get and take advantage of what's going on outside and sit outside, although we didn't take advantage of what is outside. I did want to show you though, because I did think about, seasons, and I thought about growing patterns and all kinds of things. Now these are not flourishing any longer, because I had to put it in water, they broke off, so they're not flourishing. But these are my tomato plants, and we could just fully see from flower to tomatoes. Look at that. Look at that teeny tiny tomato from those flowers here. And they start low to these teeny tiny tomatoes. So we look at all kinds of things: food, growing, science, and then come to our early bird class on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We're going to be doing more grammar, sentence structure, and phrases, and direct objects. We're just plowing through the information. We've been here for a half a year. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I am the teacher, and you are here in our Monday morning, not so early bird classroom. Thanks for joining me.